The FBI just released its newest numbers, and they are the worst in American history. In 2025, Americans over the age of 60 lost $7.7 billion to fraud. That is a 59% increase from the year before. Over 201,000 victims filed complaints. More than 12,000 of them each lost over $100,000. And the FBI openly admits these numbers represent only a fraction of actual losses, because most victims never report what happened. The Federal Trade Commission estimates that when you account for unreported cases, the real number could be as high as $81.5 billion stolen from older Americans in a single year. But here is what nobody is talking about. The vast majority of these victims did not get targeted because they were careless or because they made some obvious mistake. They got targeted because they did something completely normal. They told someone how much money they had, and that one decision set everything else in motion. This is for educational purposes only and is not tax or financial advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making decisions about your specific situation. Let me tell you about a woman we will call Carol. She is 69 years old. She lives in Scottsdale, Arizona. She retired 2 years ago after 31 years as a hospital administrator. She has a substantial IRA, a paid-off house, and a brokerage account. By any reasonable standard, she built something real and she is proud of it. At her retirement party, she told her close circle what she had saved. She mentioned the number to her adult son during a family dinner. She told a neighbor she had known for 20 years. She posted about her retirement milestone on social media. Not the exact dollar amount, but enough. Enough for people to understand she was comfortable. 18 months later, her son asked to borrow $80,000 for a business venture. Her neighbor introduced her to a financial advisor she had never heard of who promised 12% guaranteed annual returns. A man she met through her church asked her to co-sign a loan because he was going through a temporary hardship. And her phone started receiving calls from people claiming to be from the Social Security Administration, asking her to verify her retirement account information. Carol had not been careless. She'd been normal. She told the people in her life that she was financially okay. And then her financial life became a target. Today, I am going to explain exactly why telling people about your retirement wealth creates real documented financial risk. I am going to walk through the 4 categories of people who use that information against you and give you a specific framework for protecting yourself without becoming isolated or paranoid. This is not about being secretive. This is about understanding that financial information about retirees functions as a targeting signal. And right now, that targeting is more systematic, more sophisticated, and more dangerous than most people realize. Studies estimate the total annual cost of elder financial exploitation at approximately $28.3 billion. That is more than the annual GDP of many countries. It is being taken from American retirees one account at a time, one conversation at a time, one misplaced trust at a time. And the trajectory is accelerating in one direction only. The criminals are getting better at this. The technology they use is improving, and the pool of potential targets grows every year as more baby boomers retire with real accumulated wealth. Every one of these numbers represents a specific person who retired, told someone they were financially secure, and watched their security disappear. Here is what most people do not understand about how they become a target. It is almost never random. Scammers and exploiters do not select victims arbitrarily. They identify targets based on signals. And the strongest signal a retiree can broadcast is information about their financial situation. When you tell someone you have a significant retirement account, or that you own your home outright, or that you receive a pension in addition to Social Security, you are providing what amounts to operational intelligence to anyone who hears it and does not have your best interest at heart. That information travels. The person you told tells someone else. A casual mention at dinner becomes a known fact in a social circle. A post on social media reaches people you have not spoken to in decades, and once the information is out, you cannot take it back. The first category of risk is family members. This is the one nobody wants to talk about, but the research is completely unambiguous. The vast majority of financial exploitation of older adults takes place within families. Financial planners and elder law attorneys have a term for one version of this. They call it inheritance impatience. An adult child who knows how much a parent has saved, who is facing their own financial pressures, and who begins making decisions based on the belief that the money should already be theirs. This does not always look like crime. It often starts as pressure. Persistent requests for loans that are never repaid. Suggestions that the parent does not need to spend that much on something. Slow interference in financial decisions. Gradual isolation from other family members who might push back. Consider a documented pattern. An elderly man needed help after his wife passed away. He asked his daughter to move in. She gradually isolated him from other family members. She gained control of his accounts through a power of attorney. When he finally sought outside help, he believed he had $80,000 saved. He had $300 left. She had spent years transferring his money while providing just enough care to maintain access. He trusted her completely. He told her everything. That is how it started. When an adult child knows a parent's exact financial situation, the dynamic of every financial conversation changes. The parent feels pressure not to say no. The child calibrates requests to what they know is available. A loan that is never repaid, followed by another request, followed by a gradual increase in the child's role in the parent's financial decisions, is one of the most documented pathways in elder financial exploitation cases. It does not start with theft. It starts with generosity. The protective move is not to refuse to help family. It is to establish clear documented terms for any financial transfer, a written loan agreement, a formal record of the transaction, and to ensure no single family member has unchecked access to your accounts. The second category is financial predators who use social networks. These are advisors, salespeople, neighbors, church members, or community figures who identify retirees with means through social signals and approach them with investment opportunities. Investment fraud is now the costliest category of financial crime targeting seniors, with total losses exceeding $6.5 billion in 2024 alone. The average victim is not someone who was obviously naive. They are educated, experienced, and often financially sophisticated. They simply trusted someone introduced through a connection they already trusted. This is called affinity fraud, and it works because the perpetrator establishes credibility through a shared community before making the financial pitch. Carol's church contact, who offered guaranteed 12% annual returns, is a textbook example. Guaranteed returns above what any legitimate investment offers are a universal red flag. The church connection is the mechanism of trust. The knowledge of Carol's financial situation is what made her worth approaching. There is a version of this that is growing faster than any other type of elder fraud. Confidence fraud, sometimes called romance fraud or pig butchering when it involves cryptocurrency, has exploded in recent years. The setup is always the same. A person who appears successful and sophisticated enters a retiree's social orbit online or through a community. The relationship develops over weeks or months. Trust is established. Then the conversation turns to investments. The new friend has been making extraordinary returns on a platform the victim has never heard of. The victim invests. Returns appear to grow. They invest more. Then the platform becomes inaccessible or the friend vanishes. The victims are not naive people. They are lonely, and there is a critical difference between naive and lonely. Retirement creates real social isolation, especially after losing a spouse or moving to a new community. Criminals know this, and they invest months of attention before asking for anything. The third category is government impersonators and technology scammers. In 2025, government impersonation scam complaints doubled from the previous year, with the FBI documenting nearly $797 million in losses from those efforts alone. Technology support scams cost over $2.1 billion. What makes these scams effective against retirees is the combination of prior research and emotional manipulation. The caller often already knows your name, your general location, and sometimes details about your accounts from data breaches. Retirees who have openly discussed their financial situation are even easier to manipulate because the caller can reference specific details that make the approach seem legitimate. Let me be absolutely clear. The IRS does not call you. The Social Security Administration does not call to verify retirement account information. Medicare does not call asking for your bank account number. Any call claiming to be from a government agency that involves a financial transaction, a request for personal information, or a threat of arrest or benefit suspension is a scam, every single time without exception. The fourth category is changes in cognitive capacity, and this concerns me the most. Cognitive decline is a normal part of aging. It does not happen to everyone, and it does not happen suddenly. But the specific brain functions that detect deception and evaluate risk decline faster than general intelligence. The financial decisions you make today about who knows what about your wealth will still be in effect in 10 or 15 years. The version of you at 78 who is slightly less sharp will still be dealing with the consequences of what the 69-year-old version disclosed at a dinner party. And this intersects with the most dangerous technology currently being used against retirees: AI voice cloning. Scammers use artificial intelligence to clone the voice of a family member from audio on social media or voicemail. They call a grandparent and play a voice that sounds exactly like a grandchild in distress. The grandchild has been arrested, needs money immediately. Please do not tell anyone. The emotional urgency bypasses rational evaluation. The protective protocol is simple, but must be established before any call comes. Create a family code word. Any family member calling with a financial emergency must provide the code word. If they cannot, hang up and call that person directly at a number you already have. No real emergency requires sending money before you can verify. Anyone who says there is no time to verify is a scammer. Now let me give you the specific framework for protection. First, stop using specific dollar amounts in any social context. There is a significant difference between telling someone you are financially comfortable in retirement and telling them you have a specific amount in an IRA with a paid-off house and a specific amount in a brokerage account. One communicates well-being, the other is a target assessment. Financial specifics are need-to-know information. The people who need to know are your estate attorney, your financial advisor, your accountant, and your spouse. Everyone else gets the general version. Second, establish a trusted point of financial contact who is not a family member. Your attorney or CPA is a professional with a legal and ethical obligation to act in your interest. Having an independent professional who serves as a second set of eyes on significant transactions is one of the most effective safeguards available. Third, for any investment opportunity from a social or community connection, apply the same scrutiny you would to a cold call. Check the registration and disciplinary history of any advisor through FINRA BrokerCheck at brokercheck.finra.org. This is a free public database. You can also verify investment advisors through the SEC's database at advisorinfo.sec.gov. These checks cost nothing and take 5 minutes. Walk away from any investment offering guaranteed returns above 5 to 6%, regardless of who is presenting it. Fourth, secure your digital footprint. Use unique passwords on financial accounts. Enable two-factor authentication everywhere. Review your credit report at annualcreditreport.com at least once a year. Never click links in emails from financial institutions, and apply a filter to everything you share on social media. Photos of expensive travel, posts about paying off a house, announcements about retirement milestones, all of these signal financial capacity to anyone looking. If a post tells a stranger how much you have or when you received it, reconsider sharing it. Fifth, be extremely deliberate about your durable power of attorney. This document is both essential and dangerous. Without it, your family may need to go through expensive court proceedings if you become incapacitated. But it also grants broad authority over your accounts to whoever you name. Consider using a springing power of attorney that activates only under specific conditions. The person you name should not be someone currently under financial pressure or someone who has recently asked you for money. Sixth, register a trusted contact person at every financial institution. Under FINRA Rule 4512, investment firms must ask clients to designate a trusted contact. This person cannot make transactions but can be contacted if the institution suspects unusual activity or financial exploitation. Designate someone with no financial stake in your estate. Seventh, know the reporting lines. Report fraud to the FBI at ic3.gov. For family exploitation, contact Adult Protective Services in your state. The National Elder Fraud Hotline at 1-833-372-8311 operates Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern and provides guidance and resources. Every unreported case is a case that never gets built and another retiree left unprotected. There is a principle that wealthy families have practiced for generations that most people in middle-class retirement have never been taught. You do not discuss your net worth in social settings, not the number, not the breakdown, not the accounts. You discuss what you are doing and how life is going. The financial details stay between you and your advisors. That norm developed because generations of experience taught them that financial disclosure creates dynamics that are almost never in the disclosing person's favor. The person who knows how much you have will always know, and what they do with that knowledge is outside your control the moment you share it. The skills that helped you save are not the same skills that protect you in retirement. Saving requires discipline, patience, and the willingness to defer gratification. Protection requires skepticism, boundaries, and the willingness to say no to people you trust. That feels uncomfortable because it runs against a lifetime of being generous and trusting. But the data is unambiguous. In retirement, financial privacy and structural protections are what keep everything you built intact. You built your retirement over decades. You made hard decisions. You saved when it was inconvenient. Protect it with the same intentionality you used to build it. For more strategies that protect your retirement, stay connected with Retirement Wealth Watch.